In this video, we're going to talk about the Multiflora object. The Multiflora is an object generator that generates grass of different types, and these can later on be given the proper materials. They can be scattered over geometry. Here we have a landscape geometry which has different grass types or different multiflora objects scattered on top of it with the multicloner. As well, here we have some rocks and some trees in the background, but the focus of this video is on creating the multiflora objects, the grass objects, how we can use different types of grass elements, how we can assign materials to our grass geometry. So here I'm gonna start off from scratch. I'm just gonna create a multiflora object. I'm gonna lock my selection, and this is what I have so far. I'm gonna create a few materials because later on I'm gonna be using these materials. So here I'm just assigning different green colors. Just create some brownish colors to use for different parts of the plant geometry. Okay, so this is enough. Maybe we need one more dark green color, like so. Alright, so I'll just assign a color here. So this color or this material is assigned to the whole geometry without taking into account the different selections that this geometry might have. So far we just have grass, so it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go to the Multiflora global, and I'm gonna start talking about the global parameters. The first parameter that we have is the preview mode. So if I check this, I'm gonna see the grass geometry as a set of lines, and this is to speed up the screen display, especially when you have wind on. So for example, if I go to Hyperwind and check the wind to be on, I'm gonna see that the display as lines will be faster than just displaying it as geometry. In this case, again, there is no huge difference because I just have one grass patch over here. I'm gonna uncheck the wind on and go back to discuss the other options that we have. So that's the preview mode. Now, in case I wanted to see the preview in lower resolution, I would just check low resolution preview, and this will lower down the amount of segments, again speeding up the display. Note that in the low res preview, not all the elements are going to be visible. For example, if I have some stems here, I will see the stems, but if I have other elements like the blades, I will not be able to see them unless I go to the high resolution preview by unchecking low resolution, and then we'll see everything according to the amount of segments that they have. So again, this is just an optimization parameter that you can check to speed up the screen display. Here we have the preview color, which you can change. So if I set it, say, to something bluish or turquoise, it's gonna change, but there is a color increment value as well. So each element is gonna have a slightly brighter color. So for example, if I activate leaves, the leaves are gonna be slightly brighter. If I activate petals, the petals are gonna be brighter, and so forth. Here, these are the actual blades which I can remove, and there we see the color increment value. So if we increase that, it's gonna start to get brighter sooner. If we decrease it, it's gonna get darker instead of getting brighter. If we give it a value of 1, then there is no change to the color increment, and all of them would have the same color. The random seed, you can change it to have a different random appearance. And let's uncheck the petals for now. We'll go back to it a bit later, along with the leaves and the stems. So if you go back here, you can change the random seed, or you can just click on the randomize flora, and this will give you a different random look. This would look really significant in case I was using something more elaborate, for example, Dactylus preset here. If I go back here and change the randomize, I'm gonna get a different look for this. Now, the reason we have randomized flora and a random seed is because, for example, I like the 500 preset. I can just go and randomize and then decide that 500 is the one I want to use, so I'll just type it in and it goes back to that distribution preset. Now, the grow global will actually grow globally the different elements, but it's also using something. For example, here we see that there is a slight glitch. So if we go to the branch petals over here, we see that we have a grow value which we can also play with. So this is a local grow value, while that one is a global grow value. So if we go like this, we see that the growth of the petals is a bit abrupt. So to solve this problem, we can just play with the grow start, increase this value so that it does not start early on in the growth process, but later on. So if I just increase this value, it's going to start later on with the growth of the whole plant. So if I just go like this now, okay, it's getting better. I can just make this start a bit later, say 0.8. So now it's going to be a very smooth growth for the actual petals, branch petals, that is. So if I just rewind, I'm going to have a very smooth growth. Of course, you can just animate the growth independently of the others. So you can set this value to 0, finish the global growth, and then just increase this. So that's another option you can use. But changing the growth start will actually solve your problem in this case. That's the grow global. You can also change the size of the whole plant like this. Okay, moving on to the grass part. So if I go to stems and uncheck stem, I'm just gonna get the grass, because all the other elements are being generated from the stems. So by disabling the stems, you get just the grass, which is what I want to discuss over here. And I will do that in the next video.